In the crisp chill of a winter dawn over the vast expanses of Asia, an occurrence materialized that went far beyond the realm of ordinary aviation experiments or typical prototype introductions. This event embodied an audacious exhibition of innovative engineering, fundamentally questioning long-held beliefs about the equilibrium in military aerial superiority. Beijing unveiled a warplane that shattered established paradigms in numerous respects. Instead of a lone presentation, the display featured a duo of aircraft ascending simultaneously, emanating an air of unwavering certainty and imposing authority. The more substantial of the pair, later classified as the J-36, astonished specialists with its massive proportions, groundbreaking architectural features, and a visual profile that evoked the dawn of a transformative phase in atmospheric combat. Moreover, the pinpointed timing infused the occasion with layers of meaning that were impossible to overlook. We'll circle back to this symbolic element in due course, as it sheds light on the precise messaging China aimed to convey. Before delving deeper, it's worth pausing to reflect on the broader context. From my perspective as an analyst who's tracked aerospace advancements for years, this isn't just another incremental step in military tech, it's a leap that could redefine how nations approach air dominance. I've seen similar unveilings in the past, like the F-22's debut, but the J-36 feels different. It's as if China is signaling not just capability, but a philosophical shift toward integrated, multi-role platforms that blend fighter and bomber roles seamlessly. Fast forward to September 2025, and the J-36's development trajectory has only accelerated. Recent sightings from Chengdu confirm ongoing test flights as recently as early September, showcasing refinements in its tailless flying wing configuration and tri-engine setup. This isn't hype. It's a tangible demonstration of Beijing's industrial momentum, where prototypes aren't shelved for years, but iterated upon with remarkable speed. The J-36 didn't materialize in the shadows of a secluded testing ground. Its initial public emergence was strategically staged, gliding boldly under clear skies above Chengdu, a cornerstone of China's aeronautical infrastructure. Observers were quick to pinpoint the deviations from conventional blueprints. The broad wing surfaces fused elegantly with the main body, resulting in a layout free of standard tail assemblies. Lacking customary vertical fins, it inherently reduces radar signatures. Power is supplied by 3 robust engines, a configuration unseen in today's stealth-oriented interceptors. Intriguingly, the control cabin houses 2 personnel in parallel seating, a setup more reminiscent of heavy bombardment craft than swift dogfighters. These choices underscore that China's aeronautical minds aren't merely emulating successful precedents, but are pioneering a distinctive trajectory toward aerial preeminence. By mid-2025, high-resolution imagery from June had already confirmed this side-by-side cockpit arrangement, hinting at its role in managing complex AI-driven drone swarms or electronic warfare suites during extended missions. The election of December 26th for the premiere holds substantial historical weight. This date aligns with the natal anniversary of Mao Zedong, a pivotal architect of contemporary China. By timing the J-36's inaugural sortie to this juncture, authorities emphasized that the machine surpasses simple equipment. It's an emblem of state advancement, triumphs, and autonomy. This fusion connects modern martial progressions to the bedrock of the current Chinese Republic. For international monitoring agencies, the undertones were evident. This extends past mere hardware, embodying declarations of determination and long-range ambitions. The plane's advent on that specific day broadcasted an assertion of maturation, proclaiming that China's flight industry has elevated to equivalence with the foremost global players. In my view, this date choice is a masterstroke of psychological operations. It's reminiscent of how the U.S. timed certain Cold War unveilings to coincide with national holidays, boosting domestic morale while sending a subtle message abroad. I suspect this will inspire similar symbolic gestures in future Chinese military reveals, further intertwining national identity with technological prowess. Looking at the 9 months since that debut, the symbolism has only amplified each subsequent test flight, including the second in March and additional ones in July and September, reinforces this narrative of inexorable progress. It's as if Beijing is methodically building a psychological edge, where the J-36 isn't just an aircraft, but a symbol of reclaimed technological sovereignty. Fundamentally, the J-36 distinguishes itself through its formidable stature, extending beyond 23 meters from tip to stern and featuring a span nearing 19 meters. It eclipses the contours of standard fifth-generation machines. The cohesive shell structure provides ample inner space, crucial for stowing munitions and energy sources, avoiding outward mounts that diminish evasion traits. The J-36 encases all armaments internally. This methodology permits entry into disputed skies while upholding its covert attributes, no matter the load level. Recent renders from early 2025 highlight its compatibility with hypersonic missiles, potentially extending its strike envelope to over 1,000 kilometers without compromising stealth. Of particular interest are its armament housings, with the main underbelly chamber stretching about 7.5 meters. To illustrate, this one compartment outstrips the body length of some outdated fourth-generation models. This vastness enables the inclusion of armaments that exceed the capabilities of most equivalents, even those affixed externally. Experts foresee accommodation for far-reaching air defense suppressors and rapid anti-maritime ordnance. The concealed transport maintains low visibility thresholds, allowing assaults on naval formations, possibly encompassing flagship carriers while staying off detection grids. This poses fresh conundrums for foes who've long banked on sea-based fleets for force extension. In the context of September 2025, emerging analyses suggest the J-36's bays could integrate AI-guided munitions, enabling autonomous targeting in contested electromagnetic environments, a capability that could neutralize U.S. carrier groups before they even detect the threat. Subsidiary lateral compartments supply room for near-range defenders or extra-perceptual gear, broadening mission versatility. Unlike many peers that compromise concealment when overloaded, the J-36 upholds its faint echo in all setups. This core design tenet heightens resilience and supports covert incursions into enemy domains without early revelation. The drive assembly of the J-36 strays significantly from conventions. While most cutting-edge pursuers utilize 1 or 2 propulsors for balanced force and economy, this variant deploys 3. This setup bestows several edges. Chiefly, it supplies copious drive, enabling paces gauged at around Mach 2.5. Next, it affords backup. Failure of one unit permits the duo to sustain altitude, essential for prolonged ventures into adversarial zones. Finally, and most vital, the threesome produces immense electrical capacity. In contemporary engagements, where monitoring networks, interference devices, and nascent beam-based weapons crave enormous power, this excess is priceless. It allows perpetual operation of complex modules without trade-offs, granting an advantage over energy-limited counterparts. Updates from March 2025 tests indicate these turbofan engines, likely WS-15 variants or advanced derivatives, are optimized for hypersonic sustainment, pushing the envelope toward Mach 3+ in bursts, far beyond current Western designs. A remarkable trait supported by this powertrain is continuous high-speed travel sans supplemental burners. Contrasting earlier models needing afterburn for sonic breakthrough, the J-36 holds supersonic states without them. This delivers twin perks: frugal fuel use thus lengthening operational distance, and lowered warmth traces, hindering heat-seeking pursuits. Evaluations suggest onboard fuel stocks of 13 to 15 tons, outmassing some lighter fighters when fully burdened. Hence, its actionable perimeter outpaces earlier homegrown variants and might parallel or surpass American ones. Forecasts indicate reaches up to 4,000 kilometers, conceivably expanding to 6,000 in prime scenarios. With such extents, outposts as distant as Hawaiian installations theoretically enter vulnerability zones. Reflecting on this, I can't help but draw parallels to the B-2 Spirit's range capabilities, but in a more agile package. It's fascinating how China seems to be blending bomber endurance with fighter stealth, something I've long thought would be the next evolution in air power. If these estimates hold, it could force a complete rethink of Pacific defense strategies. By September 2025, this range is no longer speculative. Test data from recent flights suggests operational radii that could place key U.S. assets in Guam or even Diego Garcia at risk, compelling a reevaluation of forward basing. The chassis construction warrants thorough examination. The tailless integrated wing form not only augments invisibility, but also refines airflow management. The twin delta outline assures steadiness and proficiency across speed ranges. Meticulously slanted frontal borders govern gaseous flows in every phase. Graceful arcs and merged shapes lessen signal bounce sites, producing a minute radar imprint. Air entry points are crafted for subtlety. Paired wedge-like openings under the wings nourish the lower drives, whereas an upper conduit feeds the top one. These unobstructed forms direct intake while curbing echo-prone areas. Every nuance, from entry profiles to discharge configurations, furthers obscurity, efficacy, and durability. August 2025. Imagery has provided a clearer front view, revealing diverterless supersonic inlets that minimize infrared signatures even further. A detail that underscores China's focus on multispectral stealth against evolving U.S. sensors. Equally captivating is the helm station setup. Arranging dual controllers laterally is uncommon for pursuit vehicles, akin more to expansive attack or scout planes. Furnishing each with independent screens and command interfaces unlocks fresh opportunities. One handler could concentrate on piloting as the other oversees scouting, defenses, or payload dispatch. During tense operations involving robotic fleet management or frequency control, this role split lightens burdens and boosts success rates. It hints that the J-36 exceeds close quarters clashes, serving as a supervisory center, director, and potentially the focal point in groupings with pilotless units. This dual-crew design, now vividly captured in June prototypes, positions the J-36 as a quarterback for loyal wingman drones, a concept that's gaining traction in PLA doctrine for swarm-based dominance. The synergy of undetectability, scope, and holding power imbues the J-36 with qualities that muddle boundaries between chaser, striker, and oversight crafts. It can target far-off marks, protect squads, function as a linkage point, or sabotage rival signals. This all-around utility positions it as a potency amplifier, adept at roles formerly demanding varied armadas. Such malleability creates sharp puzzles for opponents, requiring planners to foresee a singular entity appearing in diverse combat settings, each posing unique hazards. As details sharpened, juxtapositions with U.S. archetypes became unavoidable. The F-22, esteemed as the pinnacle of sky control, now seems restricted. With paired engines and compact inner storages, it trails in distance and cargo. The F-35, built for all-purpose use, doesn't match the stamina or spatial reserves of China's fresh blueprint. Its lone motor limits power supply and safety nets. In opposition, the J-36 casts influence over marine theaters. Some reviewers equate it to distant bombers in coverage, yet it retains chaser dexterity. The Pentagon has recognized the urgency, progressing its advanced air mastery scheme. While specifics stay shrouded, the effects on oceanic supremacy are sharp. The J-36's skill in hidden conveyance of extended naval counter-missiles able to supersonic journeys over wide swaths heightens risks for mobile sea groups, traditional icons of extension. Guardians must reconfigure arrays, safeguard positions, and the longevity of these resources in intensified danger zones. By 2025, this comparison has grown starker. The U.S. NGAD program faces delays and ballooning costs estimated at $3 billion per unit, while the J-36 is projected at under $300 million, allowing China to field squadrons in numbers that could overwhelm legacy fleets. Surpassing battlefield tactics, the J-36 generates monetary and interstate fallout. Constructing such a vessel testifies to China's production strength in ramping up premier flight systems. If assembly optimizes, Beijing could introduce units in quantities that overpower resistances. Financially, this obliges peers to heighten budgets, shifting from other necessities. Interstate-wise, the device bolsters China's bargaining power, since elite arms frequently heighten clout in talks. Partners and rivals must reappraise notions about China's technical ripeness and enduring aims. Economically, the ripple effects are already evident. U.S. defense stocks have fluctuated amid fears of a new arms race, while Chinese suppliers like AVIC report surging orders for composite materials tailored to 6th-gen needs. Training protocols and battle philosophies will demand revision. Flyers habituated to solo direction must adjust to joint interactions in close quarters. Novel approaches might assign one to unmanned coordination, the other to routing and skirmishes. Maintenance teams will need expertise in tending the elaborate triple drive setup, balancing extras against heightened care. Strategy crafters face merging this flexible asset into wider frameworks. Could it act as a remote attacker, data axis, or supremacy upholder? Probably all based on needs. In light of September tests, PLA training simulations are reportedly incorporating J-36 avatars for drone integration, a shift that could mature operational doctrine by 2027, far ahead of Western timelines. Worldwide, feedbacks to the J-36's exposure have been rapid and diverse. Security thinkers across landmasses have labeled it a pivotal shift. Some applaud Beijing's boldness in trialing unconventional builds over mimicry. Others advise that real proof arises from bulk creation, positioning, and field efficacy. Still, naysayers admit China's display of skill once doubted. By advancing from duplication to originality, the country has solidified its place in the pursuit of forthcoming Sky Command. Regional neighbors like India and Japan are accelerating their AMCA and FX programs, while Taiwan eyes deeper U.S. integration, clear signs of the J-36's deterrent shadow extending across the Indo-Pacific. As retorts develop, a heightened arms contest quickens. Efforts in Confederate areas will rush, with regimes pressing for fixes to the J-36 riddle. Evasion counter-tech, upgraded scanners, superior shield missiles, and matching crafts will draw boosted funds. Hence, the J-36 doesn't just reshape China's inventory, but remolds the earthly protection sector, urging swifter creation, larger outlays, and policy overhauls. The domino impacts will echo through generations, propelling loops of advance and counter, environmentally, though often sidelined. The J-36's testing regime, fueled by high-emission hypersonic runs adds to debates on military carbon footprints, potentially pressuring Beijing toward greener propulsion in future iterations. The battlefield consequences are immense, capitalizing on its amplified breadth. The J-36 can imperil sites previously out of native grasp. This redirects shielding plans across the Indo-Pacific. Strongholds once viewed as sheltered now lie in possible sweeps. Sea activities must factor in enemies emerging abruptly from remote, unleashing strong volleys and fading through camouflage. Monitoring webs must progress, adding farther scanners and blending space-linked tracing. The puzzle goes past spotting to neutralization before armament release. Though ambiguities linger, the J-36's sheer being compels transformation. It personifies a fresh doctrine in sky strength, preferring breadth, holding, pliability, and secrecy over traditional swiftness. It foreshadows that upcoming battles will pivot not on nearby tussles, but on remote hits, wave mastery, and woven arrays of guided and self-ruling systems. In this outlook, the J-36 isn't merely a chaser, but the forefront of refined hostilities. Moreover, the J-36 highlights the ascending path of digital skirmishes. In present disputes, crippling adversaries' sensory and linkage faculties can be more definitive than downing their vessels. Drawing on its vast energy stocks, the craft likely maintains disruption packages outstripping earlier installations. These might block scanners, nullify approaching threats, or cut orbital ties. Thus, it morphs from hit vector to knowledge sovereign, sculpting the field before kinetic moves. Enhanced AI systems, teased in 2025 renders, could enable predictive jamming, anticipating enemy radar sweeps before they activate. An extra angle concerns how the J-36 slots into China's overall force upgrade. Recently, outlays have spiked in pilotless setups, distant projectiles, and armada growth. The J-36 knits these, acting as a guidance pivot for steering autonomous clusters while syncing with rocket units. Its span aids sea ventures across ocean expanses, guarding fleets from far threats. Therefore, it exceeds sky transport, becoming an enabler that unites levels of state power. Paralleling this is the J-50, a slimmer lambda-wing sibling optimized for carrier ops. Spotted in August, tests together. They form a 6th-gen family that could dominate blue water theaters by decade's end. The mental repercussions of premiering such a trailblazing schema shouldn't be downplayed. Foes assuming Beijing stuck to replicas must face proof of genuine novelty. The dispatch is plain readiness to venture, commit assets, and test builds seen as naughty or impractical. This alters risk assessments in supposed clashes. Simple awareness of the J-36 forces militaries to gear for once abstract plots. Deterrence functions through abilities and their perception both. Here, victory is already achieved. The ginkgo leaf moniker, born from its distinctive shape, has even permeated global discourse, symbolizing resilience and rapid growth in PLA aviation. Looking forward, manufacturing truths are key. Hidden crafts are infamously tough to build, needing exact standards and rare substances. Commanding large-scale output would announce industrial equality or superiority. But over-complexity or cost could limit counts, lessening strategic weight. True gauge comes from whether operational wings of J-36 emerge soon. If so, area balances would tilt sharply, flipping long-standing sky assumptions. With R&D routes tracing to 2009 symposia, China's velocity evident in the third unidentified prototype from August contrasts sharply with NGAD's cost-driven pauses, positioning Beijing to operationalize first. The universal security field is actively countering the disclosure. Western entities are ramping stakes in successor scanners, supersonic arms, and independent pilotless programs. Countries are reassessing asset spreads, diverting from old to forward-looking ventures. This rivalry could speed global breakthroughs, seeping into warlike and public flight realms. So, the J-36's reach spans borders, reimagining views on flight and conflict. If Beijing ponders overseas models of the J-36 weapon, markets would shudder. Traditionally cautious with top exports, even lessened versions could alter regions. Groups unable to get Western or European chasers might turn to China for forefront hidden planes. Such deals bring not just income, but widen China's war influence, creating ties that bind foreign skies to Chinese tech, drills, and principles. Pakistan and Serbia, already J-10 users, could be early adopters, deepening the Belt and Road's military dimension. Grooming handlers for this intricate machine is a hefty task. Standard pursuit schooling stresses nimbleness and sharpness, but the J-36 calls for wider talents. Command includes long-haul trip plotting, wave tactics, and pilotless harmony. The side seating boosts teamwork and talk to equal solo skill. China's aerial arm will probably craft whole new syllabi, mock-ups, and rules to ready groups for 6th-gen demands. By late 2025, initial cadre training is underway, leveraging VR sims that mimic the J-36's AI interfaces. For European alliances, the J-36's rise amps pressure on shared schemes like the International Battle Air Project with the UK, Italy, and Japan. Schedules once drawn out may shrink to prevent gap widening. Authorities will be pushed for more pledges, lifting security spends and pulling from civil areas. Thus, the craft sparks a planetary speed-up in chaser growth, remaking money and tactic priorities. GCAP timelines are reportedly compressing, with Japan eyeing J-36 countermeasures in its FX upgrades. Peering farther, the J-36 might shape pilotless conflict rules, using its roomy holds, strong sensors, and 2 crew. It's primed as supervisor for self-acting hordes. In future arenas, it wouldn't join every fray. Instead, release, guide, and marshal multitudes of stand-ins, swamping foes by count and tangle. This changes the chaser from lone warrior to sky ecosystem heart, multiplying impact past physical limits. Integrated with hypersonic engines and AI, it could orchestrate strikes that outpace human decision loops, a paradigm shift towards Centaur warfare where man and machine fuse seamlessly. To add a personal touch, I've always believed that the true game-changer in modern warfare isn't just hardware, but how it integrates with emerging tech like AI and drones. The J-36 seems tailor-made for this, and if reports from recent tests hold, such as its 3rd and 4th flights in early 2025, showing fuel dumping and gear retraction, it indicates rapid maturation. What's often overlooked in initial analyses is the potential carrier-based variant. Whispers suggest adaptations for naval operations, which could extend China's reach even further into blue water domains. Now, with September flights confirming stable tri-engine performance, I'm convinced this isn't a one-off prototype, but the blueprint for a fleet that could alter deterrence equations by 2030. Furthermore, let's not forget the parallel developments. While the J-36 grabs headlines, China is reportedly testing the J-50, a slimmer lambda-wing design possibly optimized for carrier decks, and even a 3rd unidentified 6th-gen prototype spotted in August 2025. This multi-pronged approach contrasts sharply with the U.S. NGAD program's pauses due to cost overruns, highlighting how China might be outpacing the West in sheer developmental velocity. In my opinion, this isn't just about one plane. It's a symptom of a broader shift, where Beijing's investment in R&D dating back to concepts shared in 2009 symposia is paying dividends. The J-36's emergence, coupled with J-50's naval focus, signals a holistic 6th-gen ecosystem that integrates air, sea, and space domains, potentially rendering U.S. F-35-centric strategies obsolete in high-end scenarios. Impacts ripple to neighbors like India, Japan, and Taiwan, who may accelerate their own programs or seek closer U.S. alliances. Economically, expect defense stocks to fluctuate as investors bet on countermeasures. Environmentally, though rarely discussed, the carbon footprint of such advanced testing could add to global emissions debates. But that's a tangent for another day. More critically, the J-36's low unit cost enables mass production, potentially flooding export markets and eroding Western arms dominance, a geopolitical multiplier that extends far beyond the cockpit. In closing, the J-36's introduction signifies a turning point in aerial warfare, urging a reassessment of worldwide force alignments. Its fusion of cutting-edge traits not only fortifies China's tactical stance, but ignites global creation and adjustment. As experts persist in unpacking its ramifications now, with fresh September data painting a picture of accelerating maturity, one truth stands out: the arena of sky supremacy has been forever changed, with Beijing holding the throttle